Actus reus, guilty act. Ad caelum, to the sky, I look. Royal, noble, honorable brothers and sisters from around the world and here in this divided nation. It is with great sadness that I engage today in a dialogue with you about the tremendous amount of violence and hate we have witnessed lately. I've received the question, why does God, if He exists, let all of this happen? And the answer that I provided is, it is not God we can blame. It is our very own choices that God has provided us the freedom to use in order to make decisions that advance us as a global community. Unfortunately, we are rather full of hate. We are rather full of violence. We are rather full of personal gains and advantages that we hold in our hearts and minds that sometimes require a certain degree of hate and violence in order for our personal needs to be satisfied. God cannot be blamed for what has happened in Kentucky, in Pittsburgh, and with the mail bombs that have been sent all over the country to a list of individuals that Mr. Trump very openly attacked and expressed hate towards what they do and what they stand for. With great sadness, I'm holding this speech, and it is very difficult for me not to remind myself that, in fact, there is in us something good existent. The question is, how can we elevate it? The question is, how can we find peace? The question is, how globalists like John F. Kennedy was, like John Lennon has been, can survive not being killed with the perspective of unifying the world on a peaceful foundation. We are called the enemies. We are called the enemies by the nationalists. We are still in an environment where victims of the Holocaust have to listen to statements that there's good people on both sides, reflecting on Charlottesville. We are living in a time where fascism is still legal, and the Light Kingdom Party, Hermes de Carthusius, and AXJ Global News Network, we warned many, many times that fascism cannot be seen as a freedom of speech obligation that such individuals have, but founded on the crimes committed, the participation on any sort of fascistic movement must reflect a law violation of greatest magnitude. People that display openly to be fascists and walk with flags of fascism and hate in their heart in our streets must be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. We owe the 6 million Jews that died in the Holocaust such commitment. In fact, we owe to all of us the commitment to the law again. We have witnessed an environment of lawlessness that started from the recent election, and it continues until today. And it is kind of Mr. Trump to reflect upon the violence that recently happened, that it should not be a subject in this country. But the factual evidence that we look at reflects very clearly that it is the very same individual that has created a platform for such hate to have a foundation within our hearts, in this nation, and around the world. Let us be clear about that. The entire world looks upon the United States of America. And whatever we do here in this country reflects everywhere else in the world. When we call ourselves nationalists, when we call globalists that only want to unify in peace the world the enemy, when we call the media the enemy, when we call Robert Mueller and his honorable team, the FBI, the intelligence community, to be an enemy that has only one agenda, to bring down a presidency that is against their political beliefs, so they say. But in truth, what is attempted to be accomplished here is to recover as a nation and to find our pathway back to justice, to truth, and to unity. Ad caelum, to the sky I look, and I pray for all the victims from these shootings. In only 3 days, we had 3 incidents, all founded on hate. And let me reflect also upon you, royal, noble, honorable brothers and sisters here in this nation. None of them have been immigrants. The shooters have not been immigrants. And let us also not forget that all the children that have been shot by children have been of American origin. It is America killing America. It is Americans fighting Americans. And as we have seen in every great empire that rose high, that accelerated and then collapsed, it is corruption, it is the loss of justice and truth in such empire that has led to the downfall of such empire. And we are witnessing this here in this country. My love to this country is great. My words not necessarily have helped me in my life. They are provocative, they are not nice to hear, and the messenger is disliked, fought, and whenever potentially possible, attempted to be hurt, to be opposed, destroyed, eliminated. I embrace the thought of dying for this country like John F. Kennedy did, like John Lennon did. Because I do believe that the world can be together on a round table. I believe that the world can fight unified corruption, global warming, our economical challenges, and everything else that we face. I believe that a global intelligence community can protect us. I believe that the elimination of cash will eliminate terrorism and organized crime and corruption. I believe that when we unify as nations, we are strong, not weak. And I believe when fascism is seen as a criminal movement, when racism is seen as a criminal act, then we have reached finally a point in which we can unified work towards healing. It is very essential that we understand that healing is founded on sincere deeds and not words. And this nation has to heal, this world has to heal, as we, the people, we, the inhabitants of this world, have abused such world for too long. And I stand for taking responsibility. I stand for taking action. And I stand behind Robert Mueller that very soon, hopefully, will end what we currently face every day in another dimension. Hate expressed in another form through another rifle. Senseless deaths. God bless the victims. God bless America. And walk with the light. Be light. Follow the light. Kingdom's parties rise.